Hello everybody, welcome to this Easy 11 Plus short lesson on the spelling section of the GL11 Plus test. If you find this useful, don't forget to tell your friends about Easy 11 Plus, and don't forget that there is a live interactive Easy 11 Plus lesson every Tuesday evening in this channel at 6 o'clock. Stop! Cover the screen, because if you haven't done this yet, you should download the worksheet that's linked in the video description and have a go yourself before you look at me go through and tell you what the answers are. But I'm sure you've already done that. By the way, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So we can see that Bertha the toy lifted her So we can already see that this is a mistake. That this shouldn't say toys, it should say tortoise. That was very easy to come to because I was reading syllabically and phonetically, in other words, with the sounds of the syllables in each word. Bertha the toys, it's clearly toy and not tor. So the mistake is in the first section here, and we have to circle the letter matching the section containing the mistake. If there's no mistake, of course, you circle the letter N over here. And let it hang 2 inches above the ground as though savouring the air. Okay, so there isn't any obvious mistake in this. But before we just jump in and circle the letter N, we need to look in a little bit more detail. So which words here might be likely to contain a spelling mistake? Above, for example, is a very simple common word. You'll be able to spot if that's incorrect. It clearly is not incorrect. Likewise, the, and so on. Ground, ow, yes, it clearly shouldn't be OW, that's correct. As though, savouring the air. So the only word here that really needs any attention is savouring. And in fact, when you look at this carefully, you might spot that the word savour in British English is spelt with OU. So it should be savouring, OUR, not OR. This is very tricky because if you're more familiar with American English, you might not even see that this is a mistake, but nonetheless, it is. Her head swayed gently, her eyes closed in rapture. So the only words here that really invite closer scrutiny are swayed and rapture. And if you don't know these words, you might be a bit stuck. But you can probably see that there's something wrong with the word swayed. Because although words like say and party lose their final Y when they become said and partied, swayed is just sway, S-W-A-Y, with ED on the end. Then, as though surprised by the suddenness of her own decision, so at first sight, this is likely to look correct, and you're going to be tempted by the letter N over here, saying that there's no mistake in this line. But we should look in more detail because there are some quite long words here, especially surprised and suddenness. So now we need to read a bit more syllabically. Surprised. I can't see any problem there. By the sudden us. Something not quite right there. The sudden us. No, it's the suddenness. We place ness as a suffix at the end of a word when we want to create a certain kind of noun. For example, randomness, randomness. Business, which is actually busy, the Y becoming an I, ness. So this would be sudden with ness on the end, but here we only have one N, so this is clearly a mistake. Of her own decision, she bent her neck, flashed a glance back over her horny shoulder. Okay, so decision, she bent her neck, flashed a glance back over her. So we can see that the short words are fine here. The words that I really want to zoom in on are decision and glance, because these each contain a S sound. Decision, glance, and there are lots of ways of making that sound. It would be an easy way to introduce a mistake. So, decision. So could that be spelt with an S? Decision. No, that just looks wrong. With a C like this, it's more convincing. It's difficult. If you aren't very comfortable with the shapes and sounds of words, if you have a little bit of dyslexia, for example, this is just very, very difficult, and you really just have to learn the spellings by rote. Flashed a glance. So could I spell this with an S? Glance. Nah, it doesn't look right. Both of those words look better as they've been spelt in the original sentence here. I can't find any mistake in this. I'm going to circle N. Over her horny shoulder and strode of down the path to strode of what? That should be strode off. That would have two F's, so this is clearly incorrect. Just need to make sure that I circle C and not B. Down onto the last couple of lines here. Towards the lettuce patch, emitting little grumbling and wheezing sounds. So there are a few words here that might hide a mistake. Lettuce, there are lots of ways to make an is sound. Patch, emitting. Does it have one T or two Ts? Little grumbling and wheezing. Is that with a Z or with an S? At the end of the day, if you don't know all of these words, and if you don't know that the word lettuce should be spelt with a U instead of an I, you probably just aren't going to get this one. Sometimes that happens, you just have to know the word. And wheezing sounds as she trundled determinedly across the flagstones. Okay, so I've read that very syllabically, going syllable and sound by sound, and that hasn't clearly revealed whether or not there's a mistake here. It all sounds okay. So now let's think about these words a little bit differently. Trundled, should that be trundled? Maybe. What about determinedly? So there are lots of bits to this word. Let's think about it a bit more. I might determine something, so I might decide it. That would be determine, spelled like this. If I've already done that, then I have determined something. Or perhaps I am very determined. And if I'm very determined, then I probably act determinedly. And you can see that by building it up like that, I show clearly that there should be an E in this word, which is missing in the original here. And so section C contains the mistake. And that's it. Just a simple little exercise to familiarise yourself with a common question format in the GL 11+ exam. If that was useful, please remember to subscribe and of course to tell your friends about the Easy 11+ channel and especially my Tuesday evening live lessons. But if that was useful, don't leave now. Hang around to watch another fantastically useful video for your 11+ exam preparation. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. Don't forget to check the links in the video description. Bye-bye.